Welcome to the 7th episode of Blood and Talkness, a Hades speedrunning podcast set in a nightmare world where wearing any kind of hat is completely illegal. I'm Risk13, and I have not worn a hat in years.
I'm SatanIsAChillGuy, and I haven't speedran in years.
Hey, I'm Webs2D, and I'm a top 5 runner based on execution alone.
and our our guest today probably shouldn't be here on account of his breaking the law with his hat-wearing habits. Ridiculous Hat. How are you?
Do laurels count
Welcome.
as hats? And yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're welcome.
You didn't answer the question.
I'd say by extension,
it goes
yes.
on the head.
It's a form of headwear, right? As are hats. Guilty
But
by association.
are all headwear items hats? Like, is this like a square rectangle situation?
Yes.
What's the square rectangle situation?
Where that
All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares.
Yeah.
Huh.
God.
Red Meat had a long day,
buddy.
In any case, this is also kind of all of our episodes are very special, but this one is extra special because this is our first crossover episode.
Yeah.
Why don't you... Normally I just introduce the guest and we kind of shoot off from there into Hades news, which we will, but why don't you let everyone know just kind of who you are, what you do, and what's happening?
It's a big question, but I'll attempt to answer. I am...
Yeah, that's broad, for sure.
Yeah.
You can get as deep and existential as you want, or don't.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'll go deep. So, my name is Ridiculous Hat. I have a problem. I serially podcast, and I have another game that I play called Hearthstone primarily, and I have 2 podcasts, and then Hades came out on Switch, and I played it a bunch, and I couldn't shut the fuck up about it, and so I made a podcast. And one of my favorite memories of being in this community was Rist was starting his podcast. Someone in his chat said, "Did you know there's already a Hades podcast?" And he listened back and said, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And
Exactly.
and then here we are. It's been fun kind of seeing how all the early access players are kind of learning that, as the game dramatically exploded in popularity because it's a dope game, everyone's like, well, how do we deal with all these new people? And all the new people are like, wow, people have been playing this game for a long time. So I'm one of the new people trying to learn from the old timers here at the Blood and Talkness retirement home.
Old timer. Wait, hold on.
See, this is actually a really funny
old-timer.
misconception that people have. Riss is the actual only old timer here. I
Yeah.
got considered
True.
old timer by just being everywhere, and people, saw my name and my familiarity with everyone. They assumed I had been here a while, and Webb's is just really good at the game. So, and also similar to me, where he was just everywhere and everyone knew him. So people assumed, we've been around for a while, but we came in on the 1.0 boom. Like we're still new in the scale of some of the compared to some of the people of the community.
Yeah.
That's interesting, and it is a common misconception. But yeah, I was talking to Tyler, and he's like, yeah, I started at 1.0. And so I just assumed that people that are skilled must have built that skill up over time. But I guess it's really just wrist. Funny
Yeah,
story. We were talking over in the High Heat channel about Chaos Shield being nerfed, and I looked back at a Halion video to see how far back that went. And who do I see in chat on screen but Risk 13?
That was me for a very long time. The guy who was also in Halion's chat.
He's, not too different from the present day. Not much has
True.
changed.
Some would say I'm still kind of there, but I'm trying to graduate. Okay, I'm making a name for myself.
There is no escape. We all must pay the Halion tax at some point.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't know. I've just I like talking about the game, and it's really good, and I like playing it a bunch. And so, I'm here in a speedrunning podcast. I have never speedrun, and I am vaguely aware of the community, but I mostly like casually push heat. But I like watching people go fast sometimes. I don't know, and there are some people that just talk about the game constantly, and I'm like, hey, I do that too. So here we are.
Yeah, I will give you the fair warning that casually pushing heat is a common gateway drug to speedrunning. That's how Dunk got into it. I think that's how Risk got into it as well. So I know Bright got here that way, and I think Robin did.
Yeah,
But
how did Badge do it? Or did he just, when they put Zoo Shield in the game, did he just appear?
We don't know. He's
We
a
don't
mystery
know.
and an enigma wrapped in a mysterious enigma.
There is... Bash truly is the alpha and the omega of the community. We can't find a Bash starting point. He's just always been here threatening to ruin our times with a weapon that just doesn't make sense to anyone else.
It's like we're playing Hades and he's playing pinball, and I don't understand how he's so much better at pinball than we are at Hades.
He just gets that stupid shield, and I don't, and it makes me sad. So we do have some Hades news. Hermes
Some
Cup.
slight news.
Bit of an upset happened on Hermes Cup. To my knowledge, I didn't watch it all, but I heard didn't Shiitake pull out ahead over Bablo?
I think so. Yeah. Shiitake. It was Shiitake, right? That was his opponent. Yeah. Shiitake definitely won. I can't remember under what circumstances. It was like kind of weird circumstances because we didn't quite anticipate. Well, yeah, we did expect it to happen. But I feel like something like incredible happened that caused Bablo to, which is not to take away Shiitake's victory, of course.
Yeah.
But I feel like Bablo got like a really bad like streak of luck or something. I can't remember. In any case, yeah, there was an upset. Shiitake did knock out Bablo, and in our show notes we do have like some predictions.
First wrong prediction we've ever had, might I say?
Yeah, we had Bablo and Ananka coming out ahead with JDN and Shiitake losing. But turns out we were completely wrong.
Poor JDN. JDN's had a very tough week, to my understanding.
Yeah.
JDN stays having tough weeks, but like he was sleep deprived for Hermes Cup, and then because he had finals week this week, and then had the hyper delivery the day after, so he was double sleep deprived for that. And God, Seagull had to do him so fucking dirty. Holy. Oh.
You know, like a part of me is happy I didn't have to race Seagull, because I don't know if I could have recovered from what he was going to dish out, you know?
Seagull's like, God damn it. Okay, you're going to regret that. Seagull is like Musaeus, but good.
All right.
I'm sorry,
I'd like to
Musaeus.
rename this episode to Blood and Toxic.
This is every episode, boss.
Good news,
Yeah.
boys. We can check the
Sorry,
Musaeus
dog.
quota off for today. We have mentioned Musaeus.
Yep, we clocked in. Did you know Ronnie the Bear called us cringe for always mentioning Musaeus in someone's chat?
It
The other
just
day?
happens. It's not our fault.
Dude, hurtful. You know?
Little
It was
hurtful.
by Musaeus' request that we mentioned him.
Yeah, it happened on accident, and then it kept happening, and now we're apparently cringe for it, and that just breaks my heart.
SMH my head.
Can't believe
think
you
it
didn't
makes
lose the
sense.
DD
He's-
their wrist. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. It's all calculated. You have to play fast and smart and risky.
You say so, man. But yeah, the hyper delivery happened, as we just kind of touched on, and I personally think it went really well as someone who was like behind the scenes and sort of the person Timbo came to start assembling the gang and getting it up and running. I think we have a lot of room for growth, but for a first running of a series that's kind of different than things we've seen before in the Hades space, I think it went really well. I'm actually incredibly happy with it.
Oh, absolutely. I will say, like, as a racer, I had so much fun in this fucking tournament. It was really cool.
Yeah, the times were really sick. We got a lot of really goofy things coming out of it too that were like really fun as a viewer.
The production was good quality for sure. Like this was the first one.
Yep, very first. They've done Smash stuff before, but it was their first very first Hades tournament.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was pretty. I didn't really notice any major production hiccups, which are pretty common the first time you do something like that. So that's really nice. I guess they were just lucky. But also the mod, I don't know why that hasn't been done before, of just normalizing the RNG.
It's a thing they tried implementing a little bit in Hermes Cup, but they y'all took it a step further with hyper delivery.
I feel like Hermes Cup has wanted to take it one step at a time, at slowly mitigating as they go to see what is truly necessary to be mitigated and what can be sort of left as is to keep it a bit closer to a vanilla product. And I think, and I, a lot of love to the Hermes Cup, fantastic event. I think we just took a different approach where we wanted a more competitive playing field, because like Hermes Cup strikes a very interesting balance of a really fun event without going out of its way to be overly competitive, right? And it can be taken as such, but I again, not someone that's on the team for that, but I don't think that's the true intention that Jareds has when it comes to Hermes Cup. And so I think it was really interesting to actually put a product with the intent of competitiveness out into the Hades sphere. And I, for one, was very happy with the definitely the quality of races. The times we saw were absolutely insane, even with guaranteed 3 sacks. Multiple sub 50s. Like, what the hell, man? Like, the average time for the tournament was low 50, which for 3 weapons, 9 sacks total, that's kind of insane.
It's crazy how you remove all the dumb shit, and then it's almost like the game is runnable. Wild.
Yeah. I do hear that does help.
So what does it take out? It takes out what? Barge, Vermin, Sack RNG, and there's one more thing.
Than as well.
Yep.
So,
oh, yeah.
Seeded first weapon as well to sort of guarantee you're off on a good foot.
I liked that a lot. It was very nice. And the fact that we got to pick our own seeds, it was sick.
Yeah, interesting strategy involved in the pick ban system that we went with as well, where you present 4 aspects and then your opponent bans 1, and then you run the remaining 3.
That's super fucking cool. Like this reminds me of the deck building games that I play. Like Hearthstone does this sort of like the conquest like ban thing, and it's for seasoned competitors. You need something that's a little bit different than just play the game that you've been playing for years. Like it's as much fun as it is to watch Fareem's GDQ run and see like truly atrocious RNG and how you deal with it. It's
right.
that will wear down your mental fortitude over time. You need to build like a mental fortress to survive that.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in a racing format too. I swear the big whiffs on RNG hit so much harder when you're head to head with someone, and they manage to feel so much more detrimental because you can tangibly see how far behind you are because of things out of your control, and that really sucks.
Yeah.
That is the voice of a man who has seen Barge of Death too many times.
Yeah.
Yes, I love eating this barge into Than while my opponent skips the end of Asphodel. It's sick.
I'm having fun.
I'm having fun. Fun. I think I remember. I will say there wasn't any like incredibly super big brain reason for making the pick ban system sort of that way or whatever. I think I suggested it along with Satan or Museus or something like that. I think our main goal was really to just make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, it was done.
Fuckery.
I think the system was suggested just for the sake of brevity. With the format that we're wanting to do, where we do qualifiers and then we jam the entire top 8 over 2 days, especially when that consists of a lot of around an hour runs, you kind of want as much brevity the day of as you can kind of slide in. And so being able to just say, I want to run these aspects, I want to run these, I ban this, I ban that, okay, we can go. It sort of cuts down on a full drafting system, which I think can be really, really cool. But it does take a lot of time to get into the match if you're going back and forth on picks and bans and things like that. So it was purely for like a tournament organization standpoint of just getting us in and out and saving time where we can as the dirty speedrunners we are.
But like that's the secret of just like cutting out all the bullshit just makes for a better format anyways.
Yeah,
like it's usually
absolutely.
Doing less is usually a better idea because trying to get all complex and cute with stuff it just means that it's harder to follow and harder to participate in and harder to cast. And
right.
You just want to remove that, especially for the first time. But even then, less is more, almost always.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to play video games.
I won't press buttons, Mom. I won't go fast.
I will point out, we saw a lot of it, and I think it's to be expected. And we kind of expected it, where people would list
We're gonna
3
talk about
aspects that they want to play in
Eris.
an Eris.
Yeah.
And so the assumed ban is Eris. I actually don't think that's correct, and I think Siegel was the first person with like a great idea. Webs, you did it too, where you
Yeah.
sort of change the system and you offer up a different rail aspect, because rail is just incredibly solid as is. It doesn't have to be Eris rail, especially if you're good on the other rails. So I think as it goes on, especially if we keep the format, we'll see a lot less of the giving the opponent a sort of free ban in Eris, and maybe excuse me, in a perfect world we'll have a lot of strategy and having to throw people through the loop and think on their feet with like surprise picks and things like that, which I think would be really
Yeah.
cool to see.
Dude, I
I
almost.
will say.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, I almost debated Ananke into letting me play Lucy while he had to play Hera. It would have been sick.
Yeah, go ahead, Rest.
I will say, I do think that it is usually correct. Oh God, I'm taking a lot of damage here. I will say it seems to be a little bit more correct still to like ban Eris if your opponent has Eris, because like you're putting your weapons against other weapons, right? So it's like if you let your opponent play Eris, you have to be as confident in another weapon in order to justify not banning Eris, which is like a small problem.
Well, I think as a competitor, I think it's more about knowing your opponent, right?
Yeah.
So like when I raced Bright, I initially wanted to ban Beowulf, because I know he's very comfortable with Beo, right? And I don't really
Yeah.
know how comfortable he is on Eris, but I ended up just banning Eris because he banned my Eris, and I was like, well, if I don't get to have fun, you don't get to have fun. But I think knowing your opponent helps a lot. And you might just want to take away a comfort pick, right? If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
true.
But also, I think that if you are a speedrunner, you probably have to be comfortable with Eris. Like, there's got to be some level of practice there at least. I guess
Yeah.
there's some.
Yeah.
You know.
I
There's
get
definitely
like
a level of comfort, but I do have a hot take. I think your average multi-weapon runner after they graduate from any heat becomes a lot less practiced on Eris than they think.
yeah, I'd agree with that actually.
Because you're never incentivized to go out of your way to sit down and grind out Eris, because like practicing it just feels like you're running more unseated any heat, and a lot of time you're going to multi-weapon to get away from the category, so a lot of people just don't really do it. And I mean, this is coming, like I noticed it myself when I would have to do Eris in a 3 weapons, or even during Hermes Cup qualifiers where Eris was to start. My Eris felt a lot shakier than my other weapons, and it was kind of an eye-opener that I just hadn't practiced the weapon in like 5 months.
Yeah. The longer you don't
True.
play something, the more confidence you lose in it, and that affects your
Mhm.
play for sure.
That's definitely true. If you're not grinding, like I even felt this when I've been recently getting back into 3 weapons, and like I mean I even felt this on Eris. I was like, man, I mean Eris is like free, but it's also like I haven't played this weapon in so long.
Yeah, I think that's part of the multi-weapon mentality, right? Is you throw Eris into your 3 weapons lineup because it's a free weapon, or you have it
Yeah.
at the end of your all weapons because it's a free good time at the very end, assuming stacks are fine, right? But how free is the real question.
Well,
amongst
so
most
free
people.
is the wrong word. It's high floor and free are not the same thing. And Eris is high floor, but when you're competing with people that are always aiming for the ceiling, like just because you can phone in a decent time doesn't mean it's going to be enough to win an event.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. There's a really cool game called Slay the Spire where there's one
Weird,
character.
what does that look like?
Say what?
So what does that game look like? I've never seen it.
There's no way of knowing. It's actually been a while since I played it.
The game looks very striking. It's
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, very striking. But there's a character called the Watcher, and she's like understood to be like the best character, and so you'd think that playing her would be boring, but that doesn't actually make her boring. What it means is you better win like 95% of your runs because she's the best character, right?
Yeah.
If you're just getting like the same kind of win rate as like you'd expect for any other character, then I mean, like you're not playing the game to the best of its ability. So even though Eris is, it's all relative, right? Even though Eris is really fast, yeah, that expectation is on that weapon. So it's not like as free as it sounds. Even though it's like naturally fast, you got to sort of compare it against itself.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like maybe the dawn of the OO category will help people. Is that how we're saying it? By the way, I've never said it out loud.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yes. It's like because
Yeah,
people are probably going to be running Eris again more without it being quite boring as fuck because you get to then play Lucy after.
Wow. Unless you're like me and you run the same build on every row.
That sounds.
Judy is a menace to the community.
Well, I still don't get it. For context, I did an OO run. It was actually a record for a bit. It was the same build on every rail, and I got so much flack from the community for it.
What is the build? Is it I assume Zeus attack?
Yeah, it's the Eris build.
Eris run.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like variety in my video game. Let's do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, well, you
But
know what?
sometimes there are orbs.
You reset the fucking spread fire like 10 times. Let me know how that goes. It sucks.
Hades runners stay overdosing on copium.
That we do.
Yeah, but overall, I think the event went really well. It'll be a monthly event, hyper delivery.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. Hopefully, we'll get to mix up the commentators. I was pretty involved, like me, Satan, and Museus, and Dunk were pretty involved in its development. But I would really like to also race in it. That'd be pretty cool. So
Yeah. I'm sure we'll probably see different people next month, and I think there's enough commentary interest in the community that we should end up with a pretty wide pool, I would like to think.
I'd hope so.
Yeah. I know Timbo asked for sure me and Bright to participate on commentary next time. So that'll be
Bright
fun.
with a very particular slant to your voice. Is everything okay?
You know.
Right.
He's just Bright 01.
Yeah, I just had to remember his name is all. Sometimes you forget about your,
Get your homie's name. I gotcha.
Yeah, homie is a strong. We can move on.
Acquaintance.
Okay, so to awkwardly segue, something I've noticed. So
We're
you said,
king of that here. Don't worry about it.
And speaking
yeah, I'm not going to draw
of,
attention to me segueing right now. But so this is something I noticed as well that I like about the Hades community. It's interesting. You talk about there's a broad array of talent, and there is, but I feel like when you go into either Heat or speedrunning, it seems like this huge community. There's actually like maybe 40 people that are regulars that hang around, and they just all travel in the same circles.
Yeah. It's because we all talk so fucking much.
Yeah, exactly.
You think there's more?
There's like a tight knit like core, and then you got like a surrounding group of people that'll rotate in and out, sort of like newer players and things like that. And eventually, people will, obviously, we're not a closed community where we have a bunch of elitists and things like that.
No. It's
so,
not
like,
exclusionary. It's just like the
it's
people
just
that end up
how
sticking
it's
around.
happened over time.
Yeah.
And you'll have people popping in, popping out. Like a lot of the people I considered, those quote unquote core runners when I got into it, they don't run anymore. And a lot of newer faces are now considered core runners. It's an interesting community to sort of watch evolve and change as time goes on.
It's like a little ecosystem.
It is. It's cool.
I think you see that a lot over the course of like every speed game though, honestly. Like if you look at something like Odyssey, I used to watch a bunch of runners back in the day. They don't touch that game anymore. I know no one that runs Odyssey anymore,
See?
It's
Super Mario, sorry.
Oh, right. Okay. Sure.
it's the book. It's,
Yeah.
the Odyssey.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for me to remember sometimes. There's a lot going on.
No, it's okay. Just to keep you informed, that ended a couple thousand years ago, so it's they've been.
Yeah.
they've been
Well,
done
I
with that
actually
since.
wrote the book, so I mean, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Do you know how to write?
No, I see it in his name. It's Right 13.
Oh,
I see.
The S is
It's
silent.
Excuse me. It's Rights 13. Thank you very much.
Oh, that must be it. My Discord is bugged and just moved the words around.
It happens. Maybe you're dyslexic.
Yeah, it must be it. But also, yeah, like it's doing the same thing over and over again is not really what humans are meant to do. And when you do it, it's normally called a job, and then when you don't get paid for it, I guess it's called speedrunning.
Well, I
Throwing
mean-
yourself at a
About the-
brick wall is what we like to call it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's a job, right? That's what that is.
Ugh. Stop slapping us with this reality.
Yeah. Enjoy your video games. Enjoy them.
Used
But
to.
yeah, it's I don't know, like the burnout aspect. Webbs, I really loved when he talked about this. Like, not obviously that you were talking about being burned out as fuck, but I love that when people bring up the reality of a hobby that starts to become more of something that like takes up a lot of your conscious energy and a lot of like definition, like personal definition, and
Mhm.
it becomes something that becomes both perpetual as like a habit and also something that can you gotta watch how much of your life it's taken over.
Yeah, exactly. I like to. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. 'Cause I like to talk about it like that because it gets people thinking about it. Because like people don't think about it all that
No.
much until someone mentions it, right? But it just can it just can get very exhausting. And I think the more you talk about it, the more it helps people realize when they need to step away from something that is, while they're still having fun, it can be detrimental to them. You know what I mean?
And it
Yeah.
it is a hard thing to realize until people talk about it too, right? Because you end up in just sort of a loop where you're constantly just putting absolutely everything in yourself into this one thing, and eventually it's gonna start to feel like shit. But oh no, I'm like right there. I can feel it, dude. I haven't PB'd in 2 months, but like I'm right there. I'm so fucking close. And
It's a
it just
drug.
it just keeps
Yeah.
going. It really is. It's a drug until I think mentality in speedrunning and a lot of things is a really interesting thing that I think should be looked at a lot more. It's
Well, and constantly chasing a result is very different from constantly chasing a behavior because, like,
Right.
it's if you're reinforcing of I want to play this run better, then sure you can do that. If you're reinforcing I need my time to get lower, that's not necessarily in your control. And if you need that and you don't get it, it's pretty detrimental. So
oh,
it's,
absolutely.
Yeah.
you know. But when you build an identity of I don't need this to feel good about who I am, well, that's a good thing. But also it means sometimes you're going to take a break from speedrunning and maybe you come back to the game, maybe you don't. Nothing wrong with it. But it's all about kind of recognizing how much you need it and how much it's something you want to do.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you. I'm also glad you mentioned stepping away from the game for a bit because I haven't done it with this game, but when I ran data org in Kingdom Hearts, a lot of my PBs happened after big breaks,
Mhm.
and it just gives you like a fresh perspective. You know what I mean? I think more people
Yeah.
should I think more people should do it. Not to say
Absolutely.
like this is how you should do it, but
Yeah,
I think
no.
it's something to consider.
Yeah, it's definitely something people should think about more.
Mhm.
Also, speaking of growth in gaming communities, really quick, I feel the need
Damn it.
to mention it
Oh.
because a while ago I came on here and I looked the podcast listeners in the eyes and I said, at one point I was a part of the Dark Souls speedrunning community and
Oh.
it's shitty. And let me tell you, gamers, some stories do have a happy ending. I jumped back into the Discord. I asked a question. I was like, hey, does this route have updated notes that anyone can throw me? The fucking world record holder threw me his notes immediately, gave me recommendations on things to change as I'm getting into it, like tricks to supplement some of the harder stuff. Some of the older runners jumped in on the conversation. It's a good place now. They're doing a
Damn.
lot better than they were 4 years ago. Who would have thought people change?
Pog.
That's
think
kind of
they
nice.
do.
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. I felt the need to retract my previous statement. Shout out to the Dark Souls community. Y'all are doing good.
So if I take the perspective of Nihilist 13 over there, and I'm going to say this is a survival instinct thing that people want the game to maintain itself in perpetuity, and you don't do that by telling people to not play the game or shitting on them. If I were to take a deeply intellectual and pessimistic viewpoint,
Mhm.
Riz, do you ever do that? Is that what you do?
No, I am not a pessimist, okay? Like, what are you getting at? What kind of bullshit are you leveling at me? I am
That
not
you're
a
nihilistically
pessimist.
insightful constantly.
Is this true?
Yes.
Maybe a little bit.
Fuck. All right, well, also we're out of Asphodel. Poggers.
God bless.
Took us a
Damn.
while to
there.
get down
Yeah,
there.
this pace kind of fucking sucks.
I just said.
I mean, it's been a while, but I mean, it's the second biome. It's cool. God, like these boons suck though. Honestly, like, what am I supposed to do with
You
this?
shut up and move on.
Wait, I thought this was a shackle run. I thought we were going shackle.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It
He
can be a
shackle and
shackle
go.
run, but no, we're gonna take that.
That's the worst. Why are you taking?
We're setting up for smoldering air. It's fine.
Skamos.
Yeah. I think there's one more item.
Oh god.
This. Okay, Satan.
This is the only Hades speedrunning thing I know. I heard it's a big deal.
Yeah. Okay, Satan. Also, listen. This is exactly what you wanted. Okay, you
Okay.
said you wanted like a pro wrestling esque kind of beef
Yeah,
thing to
but-
happen in the community, and I think the Rich 13 versus Poppy Hogwash
Oh my god.
is exactly where we need to be.
Yeah, but it involves you and Halion, and now you're getting
It
to
involves
talk
me.
about
It doesn't involve me. It
yourself,
involves Rich 13.
God, shut
and
up.
now he's talking about himself, and it
They're
only
evil
makes him
twins.
stronger. And
God.
I wanted
Rick-
interesting community members to be you, not these old ass men fighting from the retirement.
No one
home.
else, listen, no one else would come forward to challenge the king. And guess what? I did, all right? Someone had to do it. You asked for it. If you were so interested in it, why didn't you do it yourself?
It came anymore.
You're a bitch. You're a
Like
bitch.
every other 1.0 runner, I'm waiting for modded category.
Yeah.
God.
Waiting for cross saves, right? Because you were playing on
Oh.
Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
A quick word on modded category, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, actually, so there are a couple things. First, we have drafted a sort of, I think this is I hope this is the best way of going about it. Doing a sort of like public community survey of like what exactly we want out of modded. Try to get like a sort of collection of things that people want out of it. And hopefully making sure they're informed. So we also put together a document
Yeah.
that like contains like the potential points that we would probably consider. And hopefully that'll be out soon. Like by the time this episode is out, that will have happened. It's the 14th of March now, so at the
Classic
time
blood
this
talking
was
stating the episode.
Hey, we gotta date it, man. We gotta give people context. But also, there was some word in very early podcasts, as well as just around the community, that there was a kind of big speedrunning / racing mod being put together by Elo and spearheaded by Elo, and I think he's getting some assistance from other modders as well. Shout outs to them, by the way. And I just got off the horn with Elo like yesterday, and he said that he's getting ready to ship a version of it.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
It'll have deterministic rooms and stuff. Deterministic hammers. He's still working on deterministic enemies, and unless he comes up with some crazy eureka moment between now and when he decides to release it, I don't think that'll be part of the initial build.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it'll have basically everything, complete with a configurable UI as well. So we'll
That's
have
awesome.
Nice.
we'll
Yeah.
have that
That's
resource on
exciting.
our hands. We'll be able to sort of see what that stuff looks like. Hopefully, we'll be able to put in some time as a community to
Yeah.
like seeing how it goes.
Oh, people
I'm
are
really-
foaming at the mouth to give this a try. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm super interested in like the deterministic. For those who don't know, the deterministic rooms means that like as you progress through a biome on a specific seed, you will see the same room layouts as someone else who's also running that
Yeah.
seed.
the same tile.
so if
you'll both get the same tile.
Yeah, same tile. And when I say deterministic enemies, this would mean like that same sort of thing with enemy spawns. You get the same kind of spawns, same number of spawns, same order of spawns, that sort of thing.
Does it like normalize RNG calls?
I don't know exactly how it works. Yeah,
I just remember you like jamming summon in chaos rooms, just routing, and it looked miserable.
Yeah, well, I mean, Satan loves it.
It's not that
'cause
bad.
he's-
It's great. I
he's a
love it.
psychopath.
Yeah. How is Tartarus mid shop?
Solved. I unironically don't drop
solved.
runs to a Tartarus mid shop.
It's because he doesn't
Honestly,
do runs. PP live.
The
Never
Yeah.
does runs. Can't drop runs if you don't
the
have.
iteration of the route that I got my 425 on, that Seagull is now running. Hurry up and pop me, you bitch. Um, it's honestly an insanely consistent route. Like you put in a week's worth of work to sort of feel out the possible weirdness and it happens because of you either going too fast or too slow in a segment. So just like small adjustments you have to make and things to look out for. But if you pay attention to those, it's actually really hard to drop the route. Like Styx is the only real pain point, and it's just because Styx is kind of like that with falling pillars and pots and things like that. Only problem is the combat rooms are very slow, so we decided to reroute into an utter nightmare that I haven't bothered finishing a run on.
Then he abandons it completely for Dark Souls.
I hear
Yeah,
the community there is great.
it's one of the best, not the best.
Among them. I can hit this guy. Yeah, okay.
Speaking
Sorry,
of,
just making sure I'm safe.
God,
Yeah,
I have-
those great shields are a pain in the ass.
before the podcast, you had mentioned that Twitter has rotted your brain. Maybe it was during the podcast. I forget. Time's relative. But I agree that Twitter
It's
has
a
also
concept.
rotted my brain, and I can't hear the words "among" or like
Same.
in any context without like cringing internally because I'm expecting the same goddamn Among Us memes that I have seen 1,000 times as I'm doom
Yeah.
scrolling on Twitter day by day. I can't hear
You know
the
who
word
hates
sus.
Among Us memes more than you?
Who?
Fall Guys.
God damn it.
Wait, Fall
Remember
Guys
when
hate
that
Among
was
Us
the game
memes?
of that was the game of the year, and then that lasted like a week and a half?
Yeah, it was a fun week and a half, I gotta say. And then
It's still going strong, right? Like it's still there. Like the initial craze is over, but I feel like it's still alive, right?
I mean, people still play it.
Apparently there's like a competitive scene for it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's Seesaw percent.
Seesaw percent.
Also, fuck Seesaw.
Dude,
I was
imagine
fucking goated at
competing-
Seesaw.
Dude, imagine competing in games with way too much RNG. Am I right, fellas?
Am
I could
r-
never.
You are right.
Yeah, no, I play games that are deterministic like Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft.
Yeah, for sure.
Card games don't have randomness.
No.
Oh,
not even a
definitely.
little bit. And card games
they're
would
known
definitely
for-
not introduce randomness in their card effects either.
hmm
No. Yeah, it's to simulate back in the day, before any of you were born, when we used to take pieces of paper that were cut out in specific shapes and like jam them together to simulate randomness. But it was really just pseudo RNG.
Hey, I'll have you know, I grew up on Magic the Gathering. Thank you very much.
I played a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh in high school.
Are you implying that you're grown up, Satan?
Yes, I'm an adult.
Oh, we haven't mentioned dicks at all this
He's
podcast. We're
stated.
doing great.
Unfortunately, I feel as though if we're at a point in our lives where we have to say I'm an adult, that's like cold hard denial setting in. We have yet to actually
I
make it
pay
there.
taxes like the rest of you, old man.
That doesn't
I
mean you're an
file my
adult.
own taxes.
Whoa. Look at what's the name of like a person that's an adult? I don't know any. I was gonna say like look at this guy over here, but I didn't
I
know
mean,
a person to refer to as an adult. I
presumably
was
you're
gonna
in a
say
room
Elon
full of
Musk, but he's
them.
not an adult. But no, absolutely not.
No, not even a little bit.
How we looking on time?
You know, it's a
All right,
construct.
We
good-
adequately
Okay.
discussed.
Good talk. Thank you for steering us.
Speaking of time, let's move from news 30 to 40 minutes to General Hades, semicolon,
Fuck.
Hatman, 30 to 40 minutes podcast. How do?
There we go.
That was some good show note in Lou.
Can you explain podcasting?
So basically, you know when you're in Discord all day,
Mhm.
just like say the stuff out loud instead, and then assume that somebody else wants to hear it for some reason.
It's weird.
That's
now.
kind of
Yeah.
it. That's kind of the whole thing.
Can't imagine it. It's too,
Yeah.
it's too much.
Yeah, like
Wait.
I don't really have a secret beyond that other than it's like and I just got into this medium really just because I just kept talking to people and they kept inviting me on the show, and then someone's like, "Hey, we have someone leaving. Do you want to be on the show like all the time?" And then I made another one, but it's I like this is if I were recommending someone get into a medium as a content creator, but like just do YouTube.
Yeah.
Podcasting is for commuters and nobody commutes anymore because the world. I'm waving my hand at the window. You all get it.
COVID-19
Yes. Yeah, it's mostly it's the global pandemic.
due to the
that's mostly it.
SARS-CoV-2 virus, the
Sorry,
novel
COVID.
coronavirus 19.
And like, I don't know about you all, have you tried to sit and listen to a podcast at your computer and not do something else?
I do it while I'm
I
grinding.
don't know if that's possible.
in games.
Do you actually pay attention to it?
Depends on if it has like video content.
I don't
in
pay
it, too.
attention to it when I'm driving.
I would hope not.
Wink wonk.
I don't pay attention to
Wait, you don't pay
driving
attention
either,
to the
brother.
video or the audio? Yeah. What are you paying attention to?
My thoughts.
That's unfortunate.
My thoughts.
I don't know if that's good for anybody.
They're a little angy sometimes. It happens.
Little Andy.
I thought you were a chill guy.
It's a facade.
His thoughts
Uh.
aren't along the same lines as himself.
No.
His thoughts
Rist,
are not
I
a
don't
chill
really
guy.
like how you loaded all 3 casts on a splitter and then left the great shield up. That was
Yeah,
kinda
well, you
questionable.
see, when I made a play, I needed to clear space in my boon pool for a flood of boon pools, a flood of boons. So
That's you only
suck it.
get 4 different gods, and like you can only
Yeah.
get but so many boons in a run. Like
I heard
Whatever,
today
I killed
actually
the
on the
boss.
hyper delivery cast that sometimes you want to go for a 5-god pool. Is this true or false? Confirm or deny?
True. Situationally.
Okay.
You're playing in
Depends.
me, you've seen 4 gods, and you desperately want to see that Athena. Yeah, you take the 5-god pool. You're not happy about it.
Yeah.
You're playing.
What about instead just getting full Merciful End build by mid chop and
I
Asphodel?
do
How's
recommend
that? That seems better.
I
Yeah.
prefer
Yeah.
mid chop and Tartarus personally, but I mean, if you're really struggling, I guess you can do it.
Well,
Master
only
Ball.
unrouted because that's what you solved it to, right?
No. You can do it unseated. I do it in races all the time. Risk 13 hates it when I do it.
Dude.
Can we talk about how I not?
That
I don't know if
bastard,
I
man.
want
Hey,
to. I don't know if I want to
Webs,
talk
buddy,
about
what's
it.
on your mind? What's on your mind?
I don't want to talk about it
Whatever's funny.
anymore. I'm done.
Okay,
You brought it
Wes,
up.
We're here for you. If
You
need
brought it
us,
up.
man.
What do you mean you
This
don't want to talk about it?
fucking little European cunt took me into a race on God's
Twice.
pride. Got a Natty Athena and Epic Doom attack.
Yeah.
I hate it.
But you didn't get barged, right?
Mm.
You know what? This reminds me. Seagull, you're a punk bitch. I would have taken that win.
Oh yeah.
Fuck this being nice bullshit. No, I would have told him, damn dog, that sucks. I'll see Webs in the finals.
Satan, I got bad news. The reason the Dark Souls community might have been toxic might have been you.
I feel
Look
like
at
we're
what's
there.
happening here. Yeah.
What's going on? Very aggressive.
Apparently, people were really nice over there. Now here we are shitting on children. Anake is only.
No,
Anake
he's an
is only
adult.
18.
No. That's,
18.
he's 19. Excuse me.
No, he's
Yeah.
19 in
I'm not doing
metric
this again,
19. You have
goddammit.
to convert it to
19
18.
Webs. We went over this before the show. We
Son
ironed
of
this
a
out.
bitch.
Wrist wasn't here. I have to run the bit back. I have no shame. I'm gonna run it back.
It was a good bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, Wrist. We weren't doing a bit. We were sitting quietly waiting to make content for the show. for the
Twiddling
first
our
time.
Right,
thumbs,
of
as
course. You
expected
would
of
never
us.
waste content on
No.
like I don't know any of this
No.
stupid whatever it is you're doing.
No,
Okay.
I would never get ahead of myself. Huh? Huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We are fighting this is the Mega Gorgon fight where we are fighting
I thought.
at least
Yeah.
one large head.
Even though we said we were already in Elysium, the Mega Gorgon's just here now.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
It's a
We're
rough
like
narrative.
we're in the dad fight and we're running EM4. So
Oh,
he spawned.
right.
Yeah.
Is there an EM4%, by the way?
No. It's just running high heat.
Yeah.
Just running
Hmm.
50 heat. If you're EM4 ahead.
If you're retrash specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
There have been some times where I look up a record for a weapon and try and figure out a build, and sometimes it's a retrash video, and I open up and I'm like, it was a mistake to look at this because there's no
Mhm.
way to reproduce what he did.
See,
I was like, I needed a build for Zagrel. He was like, oh yeah, just a Heartbreak Strike, Ares, Rocket Bomb, Crystal Beam, 51 clear, whatever.
here's the thing, right? Brighton
Don't think about it too much.
Brighton Croven, who I hang out with a fair bit, they constantly bring up things that Retrash has done in Amazement. And, like, I'm not involved in High Heat at all. I literally went from casual Hades straight into speedrunning. I haven't touched over, like, 16 Heat. And they're like, man, I can't believe it. Retrash did 55 Heat Zag Sword with X, Y, and Z in them. But they'll do it, like, once or twice a day. And my question is, at what point do you stop being surprised in a man that's good at video games?
It's very okay. I'm gonna share a picture with you. I'm gonna share a picture. Okay. All right. So where is this Discord? Oh yeah.
More work for Risk 13. Be sure to edit it on screen for the viewers at home.
Fat
So I posted
chance,
this picture.
dog.
Okay. Look at this boon pool here. This is a clear over 50 heat. Your job, guess the aspect.
Ooh,
That is Hestia.
Hestia.
For the listeners out there, is empty attack, empty special, level 2 common true shot, level 2 epic divine dash, level 2 rare Dionysus aid. It is not Hestia. It is not a rail.
I'm gonna say Bayo.
Nope.
Fuck.
Zeus shield.
Nope. Dumber. Go dumber.
Zag
God,
Shield.
Dumber than Zeus shield.
This is a Talos build.
Oh,
Talos.
no, that's Pog as fuck then.
Like, what the fuck is this? You look at this, and then you try and trace how this happened. This was an EM4 clear.
Yeah.
Because his game is broken. You can't turn off EM4. It doesn't work. He's tried. It doesn't happen. Like, at what point do you look at that and, like, have you internalize this as a thing that happens?
Listen, some people.
It's like-
I used to run High Heat. Okay, I do understand. It's as much of a. Oh God, I hate this anime. Fuck. It is as much of a drug as anything else. So, I mean, if you get good at it, then, I mean, who are we to say no?
Well, I'm not judging. I'm just like, it's nice to get a peek into an alternate dimension sometimes, and that's what I do when I look at his box.
It's an alternate. I actually haven't won. I think I who megaloled Retrash a little while ago. Like, who is this nerd that everyone's talking about? Apparently, Retrash is really good. I don't fucking know.
Yes.
How I feel about
Probably
some of
okay.
the new
He cleared a
whippersnapper
55.
Any Heat runners.
He cleared a 55. Like, I think he posted today where he keepsaked Zeus attack on Zag Sword, I guess.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Which, you know, I guess, is that a thing you do? I don't know. Again.
I'll
yeah,
never
didn't he do
understand how
55
you
feet
do.
Zag Sword with Zeus attack and special?
Correct.
Yeah.
Why? What? I don't like it here.
He also
Okay, so you understand your reactions right now that you just tried to give me shit for having repeatedly and your friend shit for having repeatedly, now you are experiencing?
so like
I'm not expressing amazement. I'm expressing. Sorry, go on.
If you're concerned for the fabric of the universe, that's the reaction. Yeah.
So Risk, for a little bit more Retrash context, he runs pretty much everything but routine inspection. So he maintains full mirror. And he has been known for and I quote, saying that AP2 with rerolls is basically just AP 1.5.
Huh.
That's how you know someone's like
That is the
off.
biggest dose of copium I've ever heard.
It's copium and a half.
Okay, hold on. Explain copium to me, because I'm a boomer. I don't know what that means.
All right, we're gonna cope.
Sit you down right here.
Yeah.
Slightly political image, but it was my first exposure. So, so like, you've got this image. It's a mythical drug that helps one cope with their surroundings. So this was a very popular image around the time of the elections. And it's just for those who are doing their best to cope, and you know, sometimes you need to turn to the copium to really just get through it, as is the case for every single speedrunner. Have you heard some of the shit we say?
I have. Yes.
If anything we say is followed by the words "is not that bad,"
It's
we're
a cope.
probably coping.
It's a cope
Okay.
and a half.
Understood.
It's not that bad, he says as he gets 34th hand with Naked Swordsman. You know,
It's like
just shit like that.
It's the this is
Yeah.
It's the "this is fine" meme, but unironic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've convinced yourself that it's actually fine.
Yeah, I believe the term for this is Stockholm syndrome, is what you're looking for.
Illusion,
Uh,
maybe.
No, we don't love it. We just like convince ourselves that we can handle it.
Mm.
We can't.
This
We
is-
never can.
This is handleable, but it's not. That's the cold hard truth.
You know,
So, what does this question "interview versus vibes" mean?
That's a good question.
uh,
I did not
Yes.
write this question.
if I think I wrote this question actually.
I think you wrote this question.
We
Well,
self-describe.
it was one of the three of you, and you're all here right now. So,
We self-describe our sort of the format and the way we do the show, especially like when we're pitching it to people if they want to come on to give them an idea of what they're getting into. We just say we're very vibey, right? We sort of hang out, topics more or less flow. You asked us if we have show notes. I told you we have a rough outline of things we like to maybe talk about. And we just get together with the boys and boys plus one, and we just kind of vibe, talk about the game, talk about this, that, or the other, media,
About our dicks.
versus
yeah, well, yes,
us
yes, male genitals do seem to come up.
Mhm.
versus some
It
formats
doesn't have
like
to be male. You know, we talk about all dicks.
That
we and you
This
know
is like a
no.
touchy subject. Let's move on.
now does that count as copium? Is that copium?
and you know
is this a copia?
Risk has described
Hashtag not all dicks.
Risk described hidden aspect is more of like an interview format where you've got
I
someone
love that we're
on
just
and
moving right along.
Yeah, we're.
I can brute force off a subject. It's fine.
Thank you.
But yeah, Riss has described hidden aspect as, you know, a bit more interviewee where you've got like questions you want to ask the person you have on, and you know, you do things one way, we do things another. How do you personally, as someone that has more podcast experience than us, feel about, you know, pros and cons of both? And, you know, in an ideal world, how would you do a 15th podcast, given your chance to start up a 15th?
15th podcast.
I would make one of them pay me full time, so I wouldn't have to also work.
Smart.
And that would be the sole change needed.
Stop giving Bubba.
Um,
Shut up. I like your answer. Fuck off.
It's okay.
It-
Bubba doesn't listen to this far.
No.
Wait,
Bubba has already
she-
done
is
her
she
job.
getting-
Yeah,
who's getting paid? I'm confused.
no one.
No one's getting paid. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Getting paid
Good, I'm
in
not missing out.
exposure
So-
to the greater Hades community, baby.
yes. Yeah, I'll accept my pay in obols. So I don't know. It's as a single person running a show, I used a structure that I knew that I could hit every week, that I could whip together show notes in a relatively short amount of time and give people a heads up as to what they were into, or in for, both, I guess. Because it's when you're sitting here vibing or whatever, you know that this is just you commit a chunk of time and you have a good time with a bunch of people that are all in the same place at the same time. But that's also a time commitment and logistics stuff that I don't have co-hosts and I don't have time for it. So I simply just made an interview format because I know I can do it and I know it's not too hard to put the structure together, and I wanted to be self-sustaining, but it's hard to have perpetual content with a sealed box single player game that the developer is done adding content to. So the only self-generating content is the people.
Right.
And people generate their own content by being interesting. And so I figured, hey, why don't I ask people about themselves?
That makes sense.
Fair.
You put a lot more thought
really-
into your podcast than
Dude,
we
we
do
don't really
ours.
care about our guests. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
our podcast started in the worst possible way, where we said the line that everyone has said to a group of friends at some point or another: we should start a podcast. We just made the mistake of saying that to Risk 13, who just does shit.
Took them seriously.
Yeah.
So, you know, here we are, 7 episodes later.
Wow.
Still
Are
existing.
you guys happy with how it's gone?
Yeah, I
Fine. Happy.
personally
Okay,
will
Risk,
say
do you know what happiness feels
no,
like?
he doesn't.
Uh,
It's a foreign concept to him. As someone who is familiar with the emotion of happiness, I think I'm happy in the direction we've started to go. I think we've very tangibly grown over the course of a handful of episodes, and I still think we have more room to grow, and there's still more refinement that can be done. But So far, I'm pretty happy with this.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I like the content. It's very clearly like this podcast is less defined. It's, you have to set aside a few hours for it every week. It's a real time eater. But I think the content has definitely grown a bit as you've ascended.
I think I remember you said something about episode 0. I can't remember at what. Also, if you're wondering where episode 0 is, you stinky Spotify listeners, it's not up there. It's a YouTube exclusive. If you want to hear the worst version of this terrible thing, just go to the YouTube and
Not even the
find
day 1 version, the day 0 version.
Yeah, day 0. And I mean,
the early access,
Yeah.
as we say.
Early access kind of implies that there's like you're getting something nice.
Yeah, this is more
Doesn't
like the
have
free
to.
demo.
This is more like your uncool relative showing up and like showing you pictures of their vacation with their kids or something like that. Like you're getting an inside look at something, but you
Do
did
you
not sign
need
up
that
to be
look?
there.
This is a labored analogy. This analogy. is
listen,
All of
it
his,
works.
All of
Shut
his
up.
analogies are labored.
We cannot.
We died.
I don't
to
know.
Hades.
It's
Which,
like with when I make hidden aspects, I like kind of like having it be focused, but I also love that a show like this exists where people can just like talk about what's going on with them, because the important part of a show is chemistry, and you all have that,
oh, hey.
right? It's just fun to like hang out with the boys.
Speaking of focus, do y'all mind if I touch on a totally different topic?
Yeah, we can bounce back. Go
Yeah,
for it.
So New High just DM'd me and said, quote, I know you don't care anymore, but I just want to vent that Croven is now top 10 on the leaderboards and I want to commit Sudoku because that's not logically possible, end quote.
And if you said, what leaderboards did he say? I can fix this.
Just Eddie Heat.
All right. Games, Hades.
I don't like
Anyways.
this world in which like nerds and shit posters like Seagull and Croven can be highly rated.
Oh, wait.
And
I should
good
also
at the
point
game.
out Croven is either first or second on Mac percent. It's either Croven or Pseudo. Those are
He does
on
run
Mac
Mac, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yep.
We are painfully reminded of it every time we try to sit down and play Divinity Original Sin 2 with him, as it's inevitable that at some point his computer will have a meltdown. Also, good news, Webs, it's not on the leaderboards yet, and there's a lot of runs in front of him.
Oh, thank God.
Speaking of which,
I have to keep
Riz,
those
why did
eventually.
you stop working so hard on the verifications?
I'll get to it. I
Yeah, what's going
intend
on
to
with it?
get back on it. I just have to dedicate like a
see,
day or so to it.
That's how it starts. And now you'll
That's
just
always
constantly
how it
say, I'll get
starts.
back to it.
So, okay, I have a really dumb question. Why is this not automated?
So
Can't automate it.
you can. We exist to make sure that people aren't cheating, and you can probably arguably automate it to a point. This is something that I think people will have noticed. But like, there was a time where we had like 200 or so runs in the queue, right? And it just wasn't feasible to sit there and bang them all out. And so for runs at a certain threshold that will not be named, we just made sure that, their time was accurate and we pushed them through, right? And when you're dealing with large volumes and a large number of runners, like we do have in terms of people on the leaderboards, majority of the times you're going to be below that threshold, right? So it gets rid of, out of those 200 you have sitting in queue, it gets rid of a good like 125 or so, and that's nice. It makes the 150 even. It makes the queue a lot more manageable. But now that we're a lot closer to on top of things, or at least we're a lot closer to on top of things, we have tried to rein things in a little bit more and have gotten a bit more strict once again. Then like anything that's above a certain threshold that will not be named as well will be taken under more scrutiny, especially with
The threshold is
want
100.
nerds-
It's 100.
well, that's a threshold.
I,
It's also like, the closer to the
Are you
top, the
throwing out
more
random thresholds?
look,
closer you are to the top, the more people are gonna watch your run, right? If you're submitting a 12-minute Darius time, no one's gonna watch the full thing. But I don't think people are expecting us to watch the full thing of that. But if you submit a new world record, we're gonna watch the whole thing back once or twice to make sure P's and Q's are in a line and there's nothing funky going on. We haven't really dealt with cheating yet. In a lot of speedrunnings in honor system.
Well, you have a lot of preventative measures, it sounds, in place. It's just, it also sounds like a lot of manual work that takes a shit ton of time.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes, and
Yeah.
let you in on a secret. It goes like that for every speed game.
Every community's like this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's just sort of because like speedrunning's built on an honor system, right? Like
Yeah.
old speedrunning.
And otherwise, like, if you try and cheat, you get fucking competing mathematicians, including William Nye,
Exactly.
former science guy.
I've never heard anyone call him William Nye. That fucked me up.
What's his name?
He goes by Bill, usually.
I mean, yeah, I'm aware, but thank you. Thank you.
I just want to
No,
clarify.
that's okay.
You-
For our
you said you were
listeners,
thrown off.
no.
It's been a long
Yeah.
day.
For the listeners.
To circle back,
So,
so
episode
yes.
0. I want to talk about episode 0 real
Yep.
quick. I loved that I heard you during the show be speedrunners and be like, okay, how do we do this? And then 7 episodes later, you've like at least figured out the steps you're going to repeat, but you do them faster. It's very on brand. Super on brand.
Yeah. Damn it.
Like it's how you look at the world, and you did it with your hobby project because that is just how you know how to operate. It's fun to watch.
And
It's fun to watch.
it also helps. You mentioned that we're
What
a
are we to you?
pretty big time commitment, and
Entertaining.
we are trying to be a bit less of a time commitment without affecting grand quality of content. Dude, we were popping off. We clocked in well under 2 hours on the last episode.
Yeah,
It was
we were doing
sick.
good.
Yeah.
That was so much.
It's
such a gold split.
So you understand what matters, like using a strength potion before you play your attacks or whatever, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah,
What's the potion
utilizing
shit? What the fuck?
ravenous will.
Sorry, I was distracted. I was looking at another tab.
Okay, yeah.
I can't believe Riss didn't activate rush delivery before firing off his rocket bombs.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
Exactly.
You just have to dash, homie. It's not that hard. No, you're not.
Stop getting so defensive.
Dumb
Not
bitch.
everything's about you, Wrist.
God.
Don't throw a tantrum.
Why do we invite this guy? Like,
This was
There-
your idea. Let the records show.
I thought that,
was.
like, I'm pretty sure that I invited myself. Like, I don't know exactly what happened. I remember it was like, hey, I'll come on your show. And I think everyone was just like kind of accepting that that was going to happen at some point.
I think that's how I find myself in a lot of situations. I usually invite myself to a lot of things, and I show up whether I'm actually accepted as an invitee or not.
Yeah, we call that twitch.tv/HaleyInPlays.
Real quick, but before we move on to the media, why don't we just talk real quick about the games we're playing? Because you know, Webbs is enjoying the sweet land of retirement, and I'm also like, enjoying branching out, finding some other games. Saying you mentioned Dark Souls. You just play a lot of games. Like, what are we playing?
Well, don't everyone talk at once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Webbs, you go first.
okay.
Webbs,
That's
you
not
go
how
first.
the
Yeah,
show
sure.
works, but
Satan,
okay.
shut the
It's-
fuck up.
Okay,
Shut up,
okay,
Satan.
that's not our structure, but okay. We can do it like
Okay,
this. We can do it like
fuck
this.
off.
It's weird. Everything's on its head, but it's weird. It's okay.
My
Go,
bad
Webb.
shit. Okay.
Go. Come on.
It's taking more time. The clock is ticking. Clock is ticking. This is not a free room.
Webb,
This
come
is
on.
not a friend
Put it on
room.
the clock.
Dude,
Hour 3.
stop.
Come on. Tick tock. Keep it moving.
Fucking.
20 minutes on the second. Come
Webbs
on.
in shambles.
Stop.
Webbs, do you even know what a game is? Have you ever played a game? Do you think this is a game?
I
Boy,
miss Cordenberry.
Ladies and
She
gentlemen,
was so
this is
much
what
nicer.
speedrunning will do to you. This is your brain on speedrunning.
So I've been playing. I've been playing a game called Spiritfarer a lot. It's Peapog. It's like it's a management type game. If you've ever played like, what's that fucking Oxygen game? I can't think of the full
Oxygen
name.
not included.
Yeah, that one. So it's kind of like that, but a little more watered down with a good story.
That's
That
Charon, right?
no, you play as Charon's
something.
replacement.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. And this cute little bubbly girl. Her name's Stella. You have a Pogger's cat. It's awesome. You can actually play.
That cat's adorable.
Yeah, it's super cute. You can actually play as a cat if you play co-op, apparently, which
Oh,
is
sick.
fog. But it's my first venture into like management type of games like that, and I think I'm hooked. I think it's a problem.
Nice.
But the story is like really good too. I like all the characters are just nicely written. I like seeing them progress and watching them like inevitably die as you bring them to the end of their life. It's just nice. Other than that, I haven't been playing too much. I did some Curse of the Dead Gods. I still haven't beaten that because it's fucking hard.
Hard as fuck.
Yeah, it's really hard. Played a little bit of my time at Oh, Valheim. Oh God, my whole life has been.
So,
Valheim.
Webs, tell us about the sausage.
Are you sausage? Oh, did you see my tweet?
The sausage.
We made so much sausage in our server, dude.
Did I see your tweet? I am a Twitter-based lifeline.
Well, sometimes I forget like professional people follow me on Twitter because I'm just talking about dicks and shit, But
Dicks
Am I
and or shit.
yeah.
Do not confuse me with a professional.
Okay. Well, like compared to this gaggle of fuck nuts here, I consider you a professional.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, Valheim's pretty pog. I've been playing that with a bunch of the Hades boys. Limited or including but not limited to Ananke, Seagull, Bright, and some other fuckos. So yeah, that's P-Pog.
Nice.
Austin, you running up the
Yeah.
clock, dude? Hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, tell us about
So
this
I
fucking
have
Dark Souls
been
shit.
getting back into Dark Souls. Mentioned before that in the past life, my intro to speed running was learning Dark Souls 1 any %, no wrong warp. And
This is not remastered, right? This
yeah,
is like
I'm playing
original
on Prepare to
DS1.
Die. Remastered has been a lot of remastered, sort of the version that a lot of people run now. I don't know. I'm attached to the glitches and things that are in Prepare to Die, and it's the tricks and things are still somewhat familiar to me. The route's a lot more modern now. It turns out the game was more broken than we could have ever imagined. You can
Surprise!
you can buy a stack of an item that you're not supposed to buy a stack of, and then the game views that as a negative stack of that item, and then you can use the game viewing that negative quantity to drop negative items, which actually just gives you the negative quantity into, you drop -8, you get 8 of that item. So you can get a fully upgraded end game weapon on the second boss. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, just learning the updated version of the route I had learned and getting back into it. I also waste a lot of time with a lot of bullshit games nowadays that are just like really easy to pick up and put down. A bit of balloons here and there. I started playing Teamfight Manager. It's like it's like a sim game. You take on the
What it
role
sounds like.
of an esports coach, and you recruit players. You do picks and bans for them in the actual games, and then the AI will play out the game with the champions. There's like patch notes and things like that. New champions are released. The patch notes are based on what champions are doing well in your game, so they're different depending on, in my game, this champion's doing really well, but Webs can be playing and these champions are doing well. And yeah, that one's a lot of fun, but it's gotten like really hard, and I actually have to think when I play it, so I'm not playing it as much because I don't like doing that.
Thinking stinky.
My
What about
brain's
you, Riz?
smooth.
What have you been up to? Remember, you are on the clock.
Yeah.
Come on.
Fuck. I'm trying to figure out what exactly
keep it going.
I have been playing.
Riz.
It's just Hades. What?
We're on the clock. Ooh,
I'm going. Okay. Listen,
This is Blood and Talkness, so it's time for clock talk.
I've actually
That's what you do.
I've
right?
actually been kind of jumping back into Hades a little bit. Been having some fun with what do you call it? Multi-weapons, 3 weapons, that sort of thing.
You still have fun playing Hades?
Yeah, it's enjoyable. I got my sub 49 3-weps. That was kind of pog.
Wait, did you bot me?
Where are you at?
49.35.
Well, if your number begins with 49, unfortunately.
No,
I have to
40.
say, I
Sorry,
have-
48. My bad.
Quick, someone check.
think he submits his runs.
Fuck, I can't. Yeah, that is on the boards.
Oh, is it? All right, I'll check. I've got the boards open. All right, 3
In any
weapons.
case.
Webs 2D, 48.35.
Okay, yeah, you are still ahead of me. I was gonna say,
Get
I thought
fucking
I wasn't
owned,
ahead of you.
loser. Fucking
I bumped
idiot.
out.
Bad gamer.
But
Okay,
listen,
continue.
I knew that I bumped out Medic because
Oh,
he had like
nice.
it was like a 49 flat or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so that's pretty pog. I've more picked up games that I'm going to play as opposed to like games that I'm actually playing. I picked up Loop Hero, which I intend to jump into. Like, this week has been really busy, like this whole weekend.
Yeah.
Um,
Good lord.
So Loop Hero, I picked that up. I actually picked up Risk of Rain 2, which I
Ooh.
have at
Oh,
some
yeah.
point wanting to ask if I can hop in on any of your sessions.
Yeah. That was
Satan,
a
as long as you're
thing I had
willing to
forgotten.
teach it
A lot
to
of
me.
Risky too.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Yeah.
We'll get some going.
I've never played it before, so keep
Great
that in
game.
mind.
Great game.
I picked up Valheim. I played a little bit of it. It seemed like a really good game, but every time I pick up a survival game, I'm just like, fuck, I forgot. I don't really like survival games that much.
Yeah, that's fair.
So as much as I liked running around, I did end up refunding it. It sucks because I really want to like survival games. A lot of people like it. They're great, like chill group play sorts of things. And I'd really like to get into it, but yeah, it's never for me. The thing that even motivated me to pick it up was some people were saying like, oh, it's like this is different. Like this is I mean, and to be clear, like it seems like quite different from regular survival games because there is a sort of end goal to the whole thing, and it seems pretty elaborate as well. So like there's that, and I appreciate that, but it's still not quite my speed. Yeah, that's all that I've been. That's all. That's what I've been playing, and also what I intend to play at some point in
Nice.
my life.
Nice.
How about you, Mr. Hat?
So it's a little different for me because Hades is kind of my second game, and so I've been actually playing more Hades lately. I'm trying to do 32 all aspects,
Ooh,
so
nice.
I've got 18 down.
Hey.
Yeah, had a fun little Zag spear this morning, where with the Room 1 exploding launcher, easy game, easy life.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, Loop Hero has been fun. Have any of you played Hearthstone Battlegrounds?
No.
I'm sure you've all.
No, I haven't touched Hearthstone since Whispers came out.
Yeah, well, BG's is the auto battler. It's like the
Oh.
TFT or whatever equivalent. It's not. It's really different from the constructed side. And I view Loop Hero as if you were playing an auto battler, but there was only the recruit and shop phase, and you never did a combat. That's kind of what that game is like. So it's super chill. It's all just you're constantly upgrading and then looking and seeing what's in the box, and that's the entire gameplay loop. And it's like I don't know if I like it, but I keep playing it and it asks for very little from me. So that's been enjoyable. And then Slay the Spire came out on Android like a month ago.
Oh, nice.
And
did it?
that's been, yeah, it's on Android. And so that's been a thing for train rides. And also the first week it came out, that's been a thing for my entire life because I played a lot of Slay the Spire. But I fell in love with it again. And so I'm trying to just go, character by character, ascension by ascension to see how far I can
good
get.
idea. Have you made it to Ascension 20 on all characters? I hear if you do that, you're like pretty good at the game already.
God, shut up.
Yeah, I have heard that, but then I mean, I've even seen some really, really good players like make stupid sequencing mistakes. So like, I don't know if it's really just about the ascension, but I haven't done that yet. No,
Okay, all right.
I'm not that skilled.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played very much of it. I mean, I'd probably be really good at it if I did pick it up, but there's no way of knowing really.
No, well, if this was your game, I think you'd be risk 20. But
Or I could
can't say for
stop
sure.
at Ascension 13 and be exactly on
could.
brand.
but you don't seem. It is not your brand to stop, especially not when it's reasonable.
I mean, if anything, Ascension 20 seems pretty reasonable to stop at. Okay. We got through the video games. What's our time looking like? You thought we were going to have a smooth transition. No.
We're doing
We are
fantastic. on
Throwing the
time.
wheel to the left.
Kind of pace we on.
Doing great. Sitting at a comfy 43 for Hades news, 30 for General Hades.
Dude, we're
It
on
just
record pace,
split
boys.
into media,
That's
which I
pretty
believe we're on the way
good.
to.
Slam this.
Are we running the hyper delivery mod?
Yeah.
We didn't get Dan this time around. No barges really helped.
Yeah, Pug.
Yeah.
It was a gold Elysium.
Yeah, but I'm here, so you got a tiny vermin.
All right, we got.
'Cause little known fact, I'm 5'3".
Nice.
I'm
Oh,
small. I'm a
dude,
small
he's
person.
Jewish and short. Crazy.
Yeah, but that.
Are you the
Yeah.
shortest person in the room? How tall is everyone?
6'1".
Has this ever come up?
Oh,
Wait, who's 6'5"?
I'm 6 foot.
that true?
6 foot even. Just an even 6 foot. God,
I'm
I would
I'm
not want to be over like 6'2". The world is not meant for people that are over 6 feet 2 inches tall.
I'm 5'10". I was about to say 5'2".
I'm 5'11". I spent a lot of my life convincing myself that I was about 6 feet, but no, I'm 5'11". Hard
Nice.
5'11".
I thought you were 5'13".
That's there's just 6'1".
That's just
All right, citation needed. I don't know. I haven't done the math.
no Webs. That's a metric 6'1".
Motherfucker.
That's true. That's right. It's a metric imperial. That doesn't. All right.
Anyway,
So moving on to the
John
media
Wick,
section.
huh?
Yeah, poggies.
Yeah,
This is a cool movie.
I can't even remember which one of us suggested it.
It was me because I've
Yeah.
never seen him
Right.
or seen it. Spoilers: ended up watching the first one, but then immediately rented the other two after.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Right. Well,
I still haven't seen the third one. Was the third one good? I liked the
I
first.
I enjoyed it. Donko says it's stinky, but Donko is stinky.
I need to watch
I
it.
don't think it was as good as the previous two, but I still think it was like it's more John Wick. It's more Keanu Reeves doing kind of. But we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Webs.
Yeah.
Why don't you walk us in to John Wick? Why did you recommend it aside from not having watched it? And how did it sit with you?
Right. So I wanted to. This is gonna be a pretty short media section from me, just 'cause I mean it's an action movie. There's not a whole
Yeah.
lot to talk about, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to watch John Wick because I've heard a lot of good things about it. And I'm not the hugest action flick kind of dude. Yeah, I'll toss it on every now and then. I think the last like action flick I actually enjoyed was like Sherlock Holmes, maybe with RDJ.
I did like I really liked those.
It was good, right?
Yeah, but actually like the second one a little bit better.
It had his second one.
Yeah,
It had his sequel?
like Game of Shadows or something like that.
Oh, what the fuck?
It's really good.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. I'm
There's, like-
renting that immediately. Can we watch that for next week?
Yeah, we've already loaded in what the next week one
Fuck,
is.
what is
so
next
we'll,
week? We're getting anyway.
it's-
We'll
it's
talk about it
anime.
later.
We'll get there.
We'll talk about it at the end. Okay, we're talking about
gotta-
John Wick.
Look, I got excited, man. I love
the clock. We're cold. We're losing time. Let's fucking go.
Some high quality content right here, boy.
We're
Yeah,
just a bunch of
Bobo,
idiots
good
now.
luck eliminating the crosstalk there.
Oh no.
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 Alright, anyways, so I wanted to watch it because I haven't seen a good action flick in a while. Overall, I thought it was good. So I'm gonna touch a bit on the second and third one just because I happened to watch them. But I thought the first one was solid. I think it put down a pretty good foundation for what to expect. It was a fairly simple motivation that John Wick or Keanu Reeves had. Ooh, they stole his car. Ooh, they killed his dog. Damn. Sag. Go kill shit, right? And that's all I need from an action
Yeah.
movie. I'm good to go. I'm rock solid. I actually really liked I don't know his name, but the actor that played the Russian dude's son.
Yeah. He also.
The guy who plays Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah, he plays
Theon
Theon.
Greyjoy.
And,
Yeah. That's where I recognize him from. Really good actor.
Yeah.
I really like the cast they chose. It was like a lot more stacked than I thought it would be.
Fun fact.
Oh, what's up?
His first name is Alfie.
Oh,
Really.
wow.
He does not look like
Alfie
an Alfie.
Allen.
No.
Alfie, Alfie Allen. I assume short for Alfred.
Oh. Weird. I don't like it.
But I
Thank
can't
you for
take it.
telling me that, though.
Yeah.
But overall I enjoyed it. Very simple. The one thing I did not, so I actually like the I talked about this with Dunk while we were doing like commentary and shit earlier, but I actually like the third John Wick movie a lot more than the first one. Because when I watch an action flick and I actually am paying attention, crazy I know. I really like looking at the choreography, and I think the first one is kind of lacking in that department. Like it's very basic, right? But it gets better as the series goes on, and so I think I like John Wick 2 and 3 more than 1. But overall, I thought it was solid. I enjoyed it.
I'll jump in real quick. That's cool with everyone.
Take it.
Yeah. I absolutely.
Satan, that's fine
Alright,
with
cool,
me.
Cool.
You
Just
can-
want to touch base.
Yeah.
I personally
But that's also fine with me. You can go.
love John Wick.
I'm not
I
okay
think,
with it though. I'm gonna need you
Yeah,
to
that
shut
sucks.
the fuck up.
I think it does cool guy
Asshole.
doing cool guy shit so fucking well because John Wick is a cool guy and he sure is doing cool guy shit.
Yeah.
I think I will say the choreography in one is pretty basic, but like they put a lot of attention to detail in the small shit for the John Wick movies. It's been forever since I saw 2 and I haven't seen 3, so I can't speak on those as well, but I know people have like gone through and like checked the amount of shots fired per scene, and like they're reasonable, and like just just a lot of like attention to detail in a fucking action movie where no one cares, and I think that's really sick. Also, the way they just sort of build up John while he's just sort of living life in the background, and like immediately after shit hits the fan and you feel bad for this main character who, you know, you don't know a ton about. You know, his wife's dead, you know, the wife sent him the dog and now dog's dead, and you know that sucks, but you don't know that he's, and I quote, the person you send to kill the fucking boogeyman. And then like that's dropped on
That
you
speech was so
as he's
good.
fucking
Oh.
he's describing how driven and obsessive he is as he's pounding out the cement slab to get to his fucking stash of good shit. There's just so many great scenes. I love cool guys doing cool guy shit, and John Wick is a cool guy doing cool guy shit.
Yeah, I'm in the
There's
I'm in the same boat.
Go ahead, Rest.
Oh yeah, just for anyone who's following the Blood and Talkness storyline, I think this is something we've done for a lot of our media sections, where we'll sort of refer to previous stuff that we've done and use that to like check against what we've watched. And one of the reasons that maybe John Wick came to mind for Webbs was when we were watching Baby Driver.
Yeah.
I specifically mentioned John Wick and how John Wick is like very pure in what it's trying to do. You know, I mean, you said it. You know, cool guy does cool shit, and Baby Driver had cool guy and had cool shit, but there was a lot of other stuff just like hanging on to it and like flapping in the wind and being all distracting from the cool guy doing cool shit, to the point where like towards the end of the movie we weren't really getting a lot of cool guy doing cool shit. But John Wick is
He's
all
coolest
that.
at the beginning, right? Like it's at the beginning he starts at the peak of his abilities and then becomes unraveled as he questions the weight of his actions. Whereas in John Wick is the other. It's like he starts off rusty and then by the end he's a total fucking badass.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's as Webb said, and as Satan has implied, it gives you exactly what you want out of an action movie. And I would have liked to have like mandated watching the second one, but since it seems like we've all seen the second one, I like that the second John Wick 2 sort of escalates what John Wick 1 set down as I think Satan said, like a foundation. And we just kind of went from there. I think that the second one actually focused a bit more on having more cool characters. I don't think the first one really had any cool characters aside. I mean, a couple of them were fine, like the dad, like the Russian dad mob boss guy was kind of cool, but no one else was like, yeah, what a badass.
Yeah,
Oh,
you really
Willem
only had
Dafoe's
like
character.
You mean nobody was like Ruby Rose in the second one? Because
Yeah.
Ruby Rose in the second one was the coolest.
I liked Ruby Rose.
Like the mute assassin.
I liked Common. Common was cool. Like
yeah.
that rivalry between them was great, and it's just nice seeing Lawrence Fishburne with Keanu Reeves in the same movie. It's like, yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's right. It just seems right, and that did it for me. And even the bad guy for number 2 was like, he wasn't a badass, but he left an impression for sure.
It's kind of so what John Wick has done as a series. One of the two things that I love about it is the world building that it does, and how you're introduced through characters doing things as to this complete separate society where everyone kind of knows each other and there's a way you do things and it's hidden in plain sight, and it does that so well, and it keeps introducing more and more badass characters that create this really cool fabric. I mean, of course, front desk guy.
Yeah,
is
right.
Like, he's a fan
great
favorite,
guy.
right? Fan favorite. But yeah, you look at like the sommelier in John Wick 2, and just the way that he talks about weapons. And you can tell like there's this whole subculture of specific ways that they interact and speak to each other. It's really cool to see that being pulled back. Like Winston is just like this super badass, like you know he's really powerful, but he's also like super cultured. He's like Frasier if Frasier killed people. I don't know. And so it's getting this world building going at the same time. Like it has really great characterization for an action movie, but also doesn't bother giving you any exposition. It shows you what's going on and then you figure it out, and it's pretty straightforward, but also you get the idea there's so much more that they could talk about that they aren't bothering because John is doing the one thing that John does. I really like that aspect of it. And just these gold coins to make the world go around.
This movie and these movies could have easily been like super shitty, right? Like in a world where assassins are real and they have their own secret organization called the Continental Ground. No assassins can
or like the
fight each
real
other.
Organization 13 or some shit.
Yeah. So, God damn it.
I got that reference.
But there could have been someone training at the hotel that's like, what are these gold coins for? And there could have been an exposition scene, but no, they just slide across the desk and they go about their day, right? They're not stopping to soften the beats because it's an action movie telling a well-written story. But I do think that John Wick 1 is my favorite of the bunch. I don't know if I'd say it's the best. I think it's my favorite because the other thing that I love about the series is the physicality of Keanu Reeves' acting. He acts with his movements, and you feel every punch. And so at the beginning of John Wick, when the kitchen fight scene, when he's clearly cracking off the rust, but he's a total badass and does the Mozambique drill of one in the chest, two in the head, like you can tell it's such a rehearsed movement, even though he's cracking off the rust. And then all of the fights in that are so believable for someone that's just really good at killing people that's done it a bunch of times without being so deeply choreographed. And Keanu sells them by being really good at hitting and getting hit.
I will say the really cool thing too, really quick, just like the there's more going on. There's this like hidden society and all of this where everyone knows everything. You like are immediately nudged at that, like immediately after the kid, like you're thrown into it. Obviously, right before the kitchen fight scene, when the closest thing to an exposition dump we get, which is just holy shit, this guy is an absolute badass. He's insane. Why would you do this? And then you get the kitchen fight scene, and then immediately after that, the cop shows up, and they just have an incredibly casual conversation where the cop asks, working again? And John is something like that, and like
and he takes his hat off,
and like you're immediately shown, and like it makes sense too, and they don't need to ham it up, right? Guy that's killing a bunch is gonna have an in with the cops in some way, shape, or form. I imagine you have to if you're gonna be killing a bunch, especially professionally, right? Like. God, I love this movie.
Yeah. And they're like the world building elements work really well, like, and everyone is surprised to see him, but nobody explains what happened. They just all talk about it vaguely, and then gives him a drink on the house with the thing. Oh man, the red circle fight scene with the fucking boss up on the railing. That's definitely Asterius. Like that's what that is. And it's super cool seeing him run into the different end bosses throughout the course of the movie, and like just get progressively more John Wicky. And then he does like the whole like blowing up the warehouse thing at the end. It's all a whirlwind, and it's from the perspective of Yosef, the punk ass kid, who he doesn't know what's going on, but everyone around him is dying, and then he gets shot in the fucking face because that's what John Wick does.
And what a scary perspective to have too. You don't know what the fuck is going on, but everyone does. Like you have such a you've astronomically fucked up to such a degree that's so bad that everyone around you understands and knows that you are fucked, like truly and deeply in every sense of the word. You are fucked, and you have no clue. Holy shit!
The phone call from John Leguizamo. It's like, I heard that you struck my son. Yeah, he stole John Wick's car, sir, and killed his dog.
Oh.
Like, it's on. It's on. Like, yeah, and everybody at that point knows except the audience, and the audience is like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? And then you find out what's going to happen. John Wick going to shoot some guys. That's what's going to happen. And, I looked at the wiki for this. I don't know if this is good or bad. I forgot that Willem Dafoe was in this movie and had an entire arc.
Yeah, he is. I'd argue he's like...
And it was a cool arc.
I'd argue he's like the only other like real close to badass that's like there, right? Because he does
Perkins.
some shit. He does some shit, He saves John's ass when...
When Perkins barges in, yeah.
and saves him from getting suffocated in the warehouse. He was a bit of an ex machina for John, but I'll let it slide. This movie's cool enough.
Yeah, I love
They
it
set
when
it up. It
Willem
wasn't out
Dafoe.
of Machina.
Yeah, I love it when Willem Dafoe just rolls up and shoots someone in, like in the face for me to get me into trouble. It's the greatest.
I have to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah, he is ruined for me as an actor.
Who do you think wins, John Wick or Spider-Man?
John Wick. I mean,
how much prep time does John Wick get?
Why are they fighting?
Oh
Good
yeah, what's the
question.
motivation?
Are they in Queens?
Sure.
Important question.
Listen,
Is it home turf
Spider-Man
for
is not
anybody?
bulletproof, okay? And the chuckle fucks he fights don't have the accuracy that John Wick has.
No, he has Spidey sense.
Yeah.
He can avoid the bullets. But wait, okay. To in true Blood and Talkness fashion, have you all heard the story about Willem Dafoe being filmed on the set of Antichrist?
No.
They had to make him a prosthetic penis that was smaller because his penis is
Let's
unusual.
go.
And it was
Massive
like
donger,
it was
dude.
disturbing while filmed.
Stop
Yeah,
hammering
like, they had to
nails
make
into
him
my
prosthetics.
penis.
They had to make a prosthetic one that was smaller than his real dick because he has a baffling.
Let's fucking
bizarre-
go.
Couldn't they
William
just
Dafoe.
deal with the large dong Defoe? Why couldn't they just do it?
Yeah.
Was it distracting?
I can't speak to the artistic reason for it, and that movie is fucked up anyways. Like it's already kind of
I
distracting.
have to go watch
but
this movie now.
Apparently, you probably shouldn't. It's kind of twisted and not like in an enjoyable way. It's not like a Dark Souls sort of thing. It's just kind of
Fucked up.
I
messed
don't
up.
know. I've seen The
Yeah.
Lighthouse, so I can cope.
I also need to watch The Lighthouse.
That-
No, you don't.
no, you don't.
Heard it was good.
It is.
Yeah, I'll probably have to at some point. I don't know. To cash in real quick on what you said about the physicality, Mr. Hat.
Oh, not about Willem Dafoe.
No, I'm bringing us all back. This is something that I've repeatedly said that anime does really, really well. There's a lot of fighting or just action scenes in anime, and what usually happens in those fighting scenes or tournament arcs or whatever is that the way a character fights or how a character goes about a fight tends to really truly reflect their character in a big positive way. The fight scenes aren't just fight scenes. They're where people are trading blows. They're developing character as they're doing so. I don't feel like we get a ton of that. Like in superhero movies, I never feel like, oh, this person is fighting in this way or that way. They're just throwing shit at each other, and that's what's going on. I don't feel like we get a ton of character out of the way people fight. And John Wick, I think you nailed it. John Wick is a very precise, quick, sort of and very skilled individual. I think that comes through a lot. Even with his fight with Common, or his fighting with Common or Ruby Rose, or the guy at the end of the third John Wick, who I won't exactly spoil, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Have you seen The Raid Redemption?
What is that?
So The Raid Redemption is a Malaysian martial arts film. That is, if you all have not watched this movie is fucking 90 minutes of nonstop martial arts punching. It uses a Malaysian martial art called Silat. The director Gareth Evans wanted to make a really big sprawling mobster movie, but couldn't afford it. So he made this movie to finance that one. So it is pure 90 minutes of stripped down action with very little in terms of effects and all physical choreography of badass fighting. Oh,
Nice.
so good. And so that's where the fighting is their expression as characters, because it's the majority of the movie, and you can see the characters in the movie kind of develop. But it's a rare thing, I agree. Also, check out the Discord channel.
PC
That's-
text.
Just throwing that out there.
Confusingly
Another thing,
large.
Rich, remember,
The title is Lars von Trier finds Willem Dafoe's penis confusingly large. I haven't dropped this.
remember, wrist and editing. Throw it
Yes.
on the screen for the people.
Throw a picture of Defoe's penis.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
please do.
No, it's of the headline about
No,
it.
no, no. You can
Above
fit the
penis.
cock
Sure.
and balls in there.
It's you want to allude to it, but you don't want to. You don't
Just
wanna
give them a
it away.
frame.
Blur it out.
They can look for it if they want it.
Can we show the very tip and not blur it out?
Ooh, maybe a little bit of the shaft.
Maybe we can get away with
It depends.
one
What
ball.
resolution are you rendering it in?
It would
What
have to be low
resolution?
enough resolution
gotta
to make it YouTube legal.
But I also want to make sure you can fit the whole thing in the frame.
I
I
don't know if
can't
we're
do- I
gonna
can't
check
do
all these
both.
boxes. Yeah.
This a big ask. I'm gonna have to take a pass on that, and
Viewers, there is
you'll have to
exactly
imagine a large penis between Willem Dafoe's legs, and just close your eyes, get that vision in your head. You're there. Nice.
viewers, there is exactly
It's-
one frame of William Dafoe's monster cock hidden throughout this episode
William
of Blood and
Dafoe.
Talkness.
What the
Go find it.
fuck? Willem
okay,
Dafoe.
So, Blood and Talkness, subtitle. Now, listeners, imagine a large penis.
Now imagine it.
That's the
bigger.
subtitle of the show. You should say that every week.
So you know how there's like Blood and Talkness episode blah, and there's like a handful of descriptors that accompany each title.
Yeah,
I think I'll just replace all of those with penis.
There
Sure.
you go.
And we can do one penis or three
Have you?
penises.
Don't forget. That's a life decision
a
right
hard
there. But hey, that's what she said.
Fuck
Anyways,
off.
thanks
but also
for
don't
coming
forget
on,
the
Hat.
word nards. You have to include the word nards. I heard that's important here.
I don't think
Nards.
so. We don't use the word
All right.
nards anymore.
Have you moved past it? Because you said it in episode 0.
We have
said it in
evolved.
episode 0?
We're episode 7. I think this is 7.
All right, circling
Something like
back to Web's 2D, if you had to give it a numeric grade, what would you give it and why?
Yeah, I'd probably give it the first one. Can I grade all 3?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I give the first one like a 7.5 out of 10. Very solid, very above average. Very good. The second one I'd probably give an 8. No, I'd probably give an 8.5. And then the third one I'd probably give an 8 flat.
Okay. I, for one, only grading the first one, will give the first John Wick a 9 out of 10, baby. I love this movie, and I'm going to go so far as to say it's a masterclass on how to do an action film. And an action film with, not only just action for the sake of action, but you can do action for the sake of action while fitting in an interesting story and without making a story interesting enough that it's not a demand for the viewer to pay attention to it with all the action going on, as well as phenomenal world building without shoving lines and lines and lines of exposition down your throat. It is what it is, and it does what it does very well. I would recommend it to literally anyone who says, I want to watch an action movie. What should I watch?
Guess I'll go next. Guests have no rights, so they go last. I will go through all 3 of them, and while I'm largely with you, Satan, on the good story thing, I don't think John Wick has as much story as it has gripping enough drama to keep us there, because there isn't much of a story between I don't know, Common and Keanu or Keanu and Russian mobster son kid, but there is some tension there and drama and motivation, and I think that's enough to carry it along. And I think that's something that honestly it feels like something that screenwriters get confused a lot. In order to have drama, you have to have story. And obviously there's some story, there's some backdrop. It's very basic, it's very stripped down, the story that is. But the character drama, I think, plays out really well in terms of the action and there's the body count and all that stuff. So with the first John Wick, I would probably give it an 8, but it's also kind of hard to quantify how good it really is, because it's probably not the first of its kind, because there are plenty of action movies that have really tight choreography and stuff, but this feels like it's been a long time, or at the very least when it came out it felt like it had been a long time. And when I saw the poster I was like, oh fuck, this is another generic action movie or whatever. Then everyone was saying it was good. I went and watched it. I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want in my movies. I think I saw it in theaters. So yeah, an 8 out of 10, but with that sort of cultural splash caveat. And the second one, I just give it a 10 out of 10. It's perfect. I don't think there's anything bad about the second movie. It turns up the stakes. There are more characters. They're cooler. John Wick does more cool stuff. The action is it's tighter and it's bigger, and it also feels more frequent. And it's perfect. There's nothing else to say about it. The third one, I think it's like an 8 out of 10, but not in like the same way that the first one is. It tries some new things. I like the horse stuff. They do a lot of stuff with animals, the dogs, Halle Berry, all that stuff. Some of the fight scenes go a little bit long. This is something that Dunk also pointed out, and I think I kind of agree. The dog fight scenes kind of went on a little bit too much, but the characters are still cool. The world's still nice. Lawrence Fishburne is also in it. Hurrah, hurrah! And we'll get a fourth one next year. So,
Oh, Pog, are we?
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to
word.
it. Hopefully, they will tighten things back up and give us more delicious Keanu Reeves being cool action. Hat, how do you plead?
So again, I haven't seen the third one. What I like about movie franchises is when the first one was planned to be a standalone, but it's such a smash hit that they made it without a budget and ended up earning a budget for a second film. But that also means the second film loses a little bit of the spark. Like, so there's another series that I think is very similar to this, where it got more money and a little bit less soul as time went on. Ruby Rose also in it. Pitch Perfect.
Ooh,
I love Pitch Perfect 1, but Pitch Perfect 2, it's mass appeal, summer release date, wound down the intelligence a little bit. It was less clever. It was a little bit more just like slapstick. And you could really tell there was money poured in, but there wasn't quite the same heart. Now, I'm not going to say that John Wick 2 doesn't have the same heart, because the guys making it, they're stuntmen that wanted to make a movie that would look like badass stunts and have an explanation behind it. I think they did a good job. There's definitely more window dressing. There's definitely like a clear arc story that's designed to be told over multiple movies, and they did a good job with it. But the first one, just the raw physicality of it combined with, you can tell it was made without a lot of budget, and they really made it something special. That's still got to be the best one for me. But I enjoy the second film, and there are definitely moments in the second film that were really, really cool. It just, if I'm going to pick one to watch, it's probably going to lean into
You
the
got to
first
commit
one.
to a number.
First
Yeah.
time. Okay, so I give the second one a 2 out of 3, and I give the first one a 1 out of 3. And I haven't seen the third one, but I think it would probably be a 3 out of 3.
I hate
I
it here,
hate
dude.
ridiculous.
On a scale of
like-
1 to 10, how would you rate the original John Wick?
It's on a scale of 1 to 10. All right. So I don't like number scales, because number scale, there's a whole spiel here that you're unlocking that you have no idea about. If you give a number doesn't
Yeah.
fucking mean anything, right? An 8 out of 10 for IGN is No Man's Sky. Like, and that game sucked balls when it came out.
true, but
So it's like, I don't know. Do I want to give it a Cyberpunk 77 number? Like, I enjoyed watching John Wick 1. I enjoyed watching John Wick 2. I think John Wick 1 is a better movie, and I think that assigning numbers to how we evaluate entertainment is a silly thing to do for arbitrary reasons. So John Wick 1, I would give it a 6.9 out of 10. And John Wick 2, I would give it a 4.2
sure.
out of 10.
Sounds good.
Sounds
Moving
great.
on.
You heard it here first.
Hat, you're
Ridiculous.
the one who accused me earlier of diving into the philosophical weeds, but here you are just pontificating about the
Shut the
arbitrariness.
Fuck up, nerd.
Anyways,
Do you want me to talk about Willem Dafoe's dick
No,
again? Like, we can
Yes,
circle
please.
back.
I mean,
We can
I'm
bring
fine to
this
talk
down
about
to as
Willem
low of a
Dafoe's
common
dick, but I
denominator
don't
as you
think we
want.
have a section like set aside for that.
no, we could do it like off recording. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can continue this conversation off screen.
It's-
I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll set up like a Patreon. That'll be like exclusive content. Dead talk for 20 minutes with the boys.
Yeah. I'm sure people would probably pay you to not release stuff.
Oh, we'll
onto
see.
the
Best
feed.
of both worlds. We can pay people, or people could pay us to not release it, but people could also pay us to release it. Poggies.
Exactly. We won't release it, but we
Mm.
will.
It can be a
deliver it.
bidding war each week.
It's like Killer Save the Animals in
Exactly.
GD2, right?
At the end of the
And
day,
And
you're
we'll
just
raise
losing
The
money.
exact same
But in
amount
this
of money.
case, the animal is a. It works.
Not just any cock. It's Willem Dafoe's cock.
Somebody end this show so I don't keep talking. Somebody
Well,
do it.
normally-
on the
this
note
is the
of
part.
Cox, I want to say. So this is. You guys know who Colin Farrell is? No.
No, I've never heard of him.
Okay. All right. You know what? Never mind then.
Is he an athlete?
He's an actor. I don't know much about him.
he an author?
I know he's an actor. I know specifically that he plays like Bullseye in fucking Daredevil or whatever.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah. He was also in Bruges, and he was the guy in Minority Report.
Yeah.
He's been. in
No,
a
this
bunch
is
of
like
movies.
third-hand statements, but I just want to say I find it really funny that there is a story about how he was in this movie, and I don't know which movie it was because it's like the information is so far removed. And there was like this nude scene. It wasn't like Yeah, he had to have his dick out basically, and they couldn't do it because people couldn't read their lines because his dick was so big it was distracting them, and they had to like, I don't know what they had to do, but that's something that happened, and that's what this made me think about.
I hate it when that
I've been thinking about
happens.
this the whole time.
You know, if we're on the topic of dicks, personally, my favorite actor to always pull his dick out is Kevin Bacon. Ever seen Hollow Man? His dick's out
No, I
everywhere,
have.
dude. It's okay, but his dick's out all over the place. It's crazy.
Isn't he invisible in that movie?
Yeah, you know, before he's invisible. Well, I mean, yeah, if he's invisible,
might
his
still be
cock's
while
out all
he's
the time.
You know, my favorite dick flash in a movie is definitely Bruce Willis's in Pulp Fiction. That's a good
in
dick
Pulp
flash.
Fiction?
Yeah,
Was that there?
Fuck, I
I
don't
don't
remember
remember
that.
that.
you get a peek of the shaft. It's very tasteful.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I have to rewatch Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, just get some neck.
Exactly.
little
Big
neck.
neck.
Anyways.
Just a peek. Very tasteful.
We need to normalize more dicks in shows and movies.
True.
Like, I mean,
This podcast's all been about mental health and penises both being in the forefront of people's
Yes.
minds, and I think that really it's they're one and the
Where
same.
they should be.
If you don't talk about the dick, you become the dick.
in this case, I think we can do both. I think we can juggle these
Yeah.
two metaphorical and literal dicks
You know, normally
at the same time.
this would be where we would ask Riz to read his well-prepared outro. However, dear listeners, do note that while Riz13 may complain about others not doing things frequently, he himself never does things when requested, as we do not have a prepared
that
outro
bird
in
this
there.
week.
You did not request me
It's
to do
assumed.
another action.
It's your job.
It has to be explicit. Listen, it's there. It's just short, and I will
Alright.
read this. Okay,
yeah,
like
go ahead, read it
it's
out.
there. It's actually there. Before we do read the outro, though, we should probably thank our guest for putting up with us for
You know,
close to 2 hours.
for the first time, I think
I should thank you.
we're the
all.
ones that put up with him.
We did have. I mean, Courtney was also
Yeah.
on the show, so
True.
It's true. For the second time,
It's true.
we put up with our guest.
Did you have her on the show after midnight? You
Oh,
can't do that.
that's where we went wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for putting up with my instigating. I appreciate it, and I'll gladly do
Oh,
it
yeah.
again sometime.
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably feels nice to be able to like cut loose and do whatever, talk about dicks on a podcast
Yeah.
format.
Just be kind of a dick. Yeah. I don't know. And also and we casually had flashes of insight, and I got to hear about Dark Souls and how Satan is
Yeah,
toxic
yeah.
and whatever.
He is
Like,
fucking
it's good
toxic.
stuff.
I don't
I
know
am
why I'm
toxic.
buddies with this guy.
I've been banned
Yeah,
multiple times on League of Legends for toxicity. I'll admit it.
I believe it. I've never been banned.
If you haven't been banned from League of Legends, do you even
True.
play the game?
Do you even care about your MMR rating?
If you haven't told your top laner that
You know that the R in MMR stands for rating. You just said like ATM machine,
Yes,
basically.
That was
God, please
The
read the
joke.
outro. I want to go play
Anyway,
behind, dude.
Hat, thanks again for coming on. It was an absolute blast. Plug yourself. Where can people find more of you?
Yeah.
You can find I'm holding up my air quotes, the cameras are off, content at twitter.com/ridiculoushat, where I talk about multiple games, sandwiches, food classifications. By the way, oatmeal is not a soup. And also where I'll post Hades victory screenshots at times. I also run 3 podcasts. 2 of them are about Hearthstone. If you like that game, you should check it out. And one of them is Hidden Aspects. You can find over at twitter.com/Hidden Aspects. I think I have a plan to have all 3 of you on that show
Yeah,
like
something
in
like
2
that.
days. I haven't done any of the planning for it
Oh,
yet, but it'll be
for
cool.
some reason.
We'll figure it
be
out.
there. And links to all of Ridiculous Hat's socials will be in the description. So check those out. Oh, description of the YouTube. If you're a filthy Spotify listener, you have to go all the way over to the YouTube to find those socials. Maybe I should post them there. I don't know. Is that responsible? Probably.
Sure.
Next time, we'll have Guardian Reborn on with us. And for the media section, it was my pick. So we will be watching the first season of an anime called Kakegurui, available on Netflix.
It's
It
a
is a
gambling
gambling
anime.
anime.
And now for the outro. Thanks for listening. Unfortunately, the nightmare is never over. Dicks, 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 nards, dicks, 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 tiny vermin, dicks.
Also, be sure to follow the show on Twitter, Spotify, leave a comment.
If you haven't unsubscribed in the last minute,
Leave a comment down below. Helps with YouTube engagement and getting this out there. Comment you were here. You're here if you were here. Let us know. Blood Talk on Twitter, all that good stuff. Yeah,
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching.
thanks, y'all.